the Jewish people sing the song. These Hebrew boys don't understand. Becky, that is out for me. I want it raw, raw boy, raw for me. I'll be rocking down the complex. Yes, if they don't throw me king, doing like the Dr. President, come to suicide bomber. Ready to shout for me. I wanted to raw, raw boy, raw for me. Anything you want, you go get. Yes, I'm mixing up the soca with some Hindi and some rumba, chutney and la bandera. I did not necessary. Please calypso mercenary. Ready to shout for me. I wanted to raw, raw for me. Pentele pulso, todo zombie mira. Kick the momentum. Everybody is welcome. Thank you. Good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of On Target. And as usual, on a Saturday afternoon, I'm your host, Kelvin Daly, and in studio with me thus far is my good buddy, Hensley Hennup Daniel, man from Cox. Tulu has not arrived as yet, but he perhaps is on his way because he didn't indicate to me that he would be absent. No, I must apologize because we had a little glitch starting out. And so we had to restart and reboot the computers. So those of you who turned in or tuned in at the stroke of 1 o'clock, you would have heard some music, but not much else. And so we had to start over. Hopefully this will be it. But we do have to, because of the late start, we have to again, like we did last week, forgive us for not recognizing all those who signed on first or second or third or fourth, but to go straight into our program because we have to be out of here by 3 o'clock. There's a new program, music program that takes over at 3:30, so they need to get prepped up. So, the engineer has asked that we try to wrap up by 3 o'clock. We may run a little bit over 3 o'clock, but hopefully we'll stay on track. But let me first, of course, send out greetings. Today is the birthday of 2 wonderful persons. Our caretaker for St. Paul's, J.D. Keynes, celebrating today, as well as that beautiful queen from over there in St. James, Gigi Williams Keat, is celebrating today. I think Gigi turns 21 today.
Easy,
Easy. Don't take no forward this with my good friend.
No, I just checking to see the currency. Nowadays, the currency.
You have to ask.
I have to ask.
You have to ask the currency. So let's wish everybody happy Easter, first and foremost. Those of you who celebrate the week, of course, we can get any prayer you want to send our way. We're grateful for that. And remember the suffering and the poor and those among us who are not doing so well, do something for them. All right? It's a time of giving. All right. Now, because of these 2 lovely people who are celebrating, and I think last week we prematurely celebrated Monica Lescott. She is celebrating the 22nd. And so that is Tuesday. So we have 3 celebrants, actually, J.D. Keynes, Gigi Williams Keat, and, of course, Miss Lescott.
And the party leader celebrated earlier this
week? The party leader celebrated yesterday, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so she turns 18, I believe.
Yeah.
Something
But
like
when you
that.
check the exchange rate, it should be.
The exchange rate. We're dealing with pesos today. Pesos.
No. We're in the EC 1 to 2.70. We're sticking with the fixed exchange rate. We're not moving this doesn't deal with the fluctuations in the market and so on.
All right.
Standard.
Somebody calling me. Let's get the call. Good afternoon, you're on target.
Good afternoon, Dr. Daly.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Daniel.
Good
I'm
afternoon.
not sure who else is there because I'm not really think. It would be remiss of me if I didn't call in to wish my father and his beautiful wife, who I call Auntie Palsy, happy anniversary.
Okay.
And my auntie man friend up there in Texas, Gigi Skeet. Okay?
All right, my brother. Thank you.
All right, cool, yeah.
All right.
That is to be interpreted as anti.
I ain't touching that. And Charlene Jeffers is saying her birthday is Thursday coming up. So I think she'll get to singing today because we're going to sing for her today as well as on Thursday. So Charlene, you are special indeed because you get 2 singing. All right? So Gigi Williams Keith, Charlene Jeffers, Monica Lescott, and Gigi Williams Keith. This is your time to celebrate. Let us sing for them. I'm sorry Tula is not here to join in, but we're going to do our best.
Yes.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. And from us here in the studio, may I live to be 101 and us 101 minus a day. So God don't have to see you. We don't have to see you go, and God don't send you before us. All right? So may God continue to bless you with good health, strength, and of course, wealth. I'm seeing a note here from Delicious Nichols Brown. She's saying her birthday is on Wednesday, the 23rd. So Delicious, that song was for you too. And all the other queens and kings out there who are celebrating in this month of April. You're almost finished.
Is there a striking commonality between among some of these people? There's Gigi, there is Charlene, and there is
Monica,
and then Delicious.
Delicious. What's the striking similarity?
I'm asking.
I don't.
Maybe they might be. If I know Delicious well, she might tell you.
Well, okay.
And of course, JD was when sometime.
That's today.
Okay, so you know all of them in the same league.
Yeah. All right. I want to remind listeners that if you're interested to tune in to WSTX on St. Croix, 970 AM, FM 100 on your dial. I'll be on there at 3:30 talking about the lands to the southeast of Nevis that is being taken up by the... anyway. So we were talking about that for a half hour on WSTX St. Croix. WSTX St. Croix. And a gentleman by the name of Abdul Ali, he reached out to me to get the full story. So I'll join him at 3:30. I'll be calling in. All right? Now, that is that. I remind persons that the fishing tournament,
Expo.
the fishing tournament over there at Sun Crab Hole in St. James, Newcastle, will be on tomorrow. And of course, the fishermen up there in St. James are wanting all persons to come out. And of course, the fishermen, what do they call it now? The Association of Fishers over there, they're extending a warm welcome to you. Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge, who is assisting and helping to guide the process, she's also extending a warm welcome to all of you to come out and support the fishers on their wonderful day. WSTX. All right. Now, health tip for today. Every week we've been giving you a little bit of advice. And today I want to talk a little bit about insulin. Now, insulin, of course, is a hormone that is produced in your pancreas. There's a little organ just under your stomach there called your pancreas. It secretes insulin. All right. Now, insulin is terribly important to regulating blood sugar levels. All right. If you are diabetic type 1, you do not produce insulin at all. if you are type 2, you may have something called insulin resistance. All right? And how do you get insulin resistance? You get it from stressing out your pancreas with sugars in your diet, too much sugars. So your body keeps producing copious amounts of insulin to reduce the blood sugar levels in your blood. Because there's a process called homeostasis, not homosexual. Homeostasis, it means balance. We're trying to maintain a balance of certain nutrients in your blood. And not only nutrients, but any component in your blood, whether it's oxygen, CO2, water, salts, sugars, whatever it is, it's called homeostasis. pH, all those things, your body wants to be in a certain level, a state of being, for it to work efficiently. And there's a host of hormones circulating around your body that tends to increase or decrease these nutrients to keep them level at a certain concentration. Insulin is one of those hormones that's produced by your pancreas. And like I said, if you are eating copious amounts of sugar, your insulin levels remain elevated for extended periods of time. And you know, you walk into a room, Tulu, and somebody like a big old stinking fart, after a while you don't smell it. Your nose get acclimatized to it, you don't smell it. You walk into some place that really stinky, and after a while you don't smell it, even though the smell is still there. Okay, that's resistance, accommodation. Your body is accommodating those stresses. And so your body is now reacting against these high levels of insulin. And that is not the thing you want to have happen. Your pancreas is tiny in relation to other organs in your body, but its role is critically important. If you do not regulate your sugars become elevated, and it causes a total imbalance in your system, in your blood, where the sugar remains in your blood rather than going into the cells for storage or to burn it for energy. And that high level of sugars in your blood and not in your cells is what causes the problems, serious problems. You can actually be fully sated or just eaten, but you are starving because the cells cannot take up the sugars because the cells have become insulin resistant. Right? If your cells become insulin resistant, you cannot take up the sugars and you cannot use it for energy. So you are literally starving to death in the presence of food. All right? So you don't want to be having a situation where you're exceeding your requirements for sugar on a daily basis. I'm not one for sugar. I don't particularly like sugar. So it's easier for me than most. But the World Health Organization recommends no more than 50 grams of sugar per day. That is about 12 teaspoons, not tablespoons, 12 teaspoons of sugar per day from all sources, whether it is added to your drinks or whatever, pastries you eat. You know, it's very hard to put out the counting how much sugar you eat. But you have to be cognizant of the 50 gram maximum. If you are on the US, the American Heart Association is recommending 25 grams. That's about six teaspoons of sugar per day, total sugar per day. All right? Now, the problem we are having in most Western type diets, including ours, is that we are consuming way more than the recommended. We are up to 88, 90 grams per day.
No more than that.
All right, more than that in other cases, right? And that's 22 teaspoons of sugar. Teaspoons of sugar you're taking in when you only need 6. One soda, a 12-ounce soda has in 10 teaspoons. You're done past what you need. I remember a lot of sugar in fruits. So if you like mangoes and guavas and pineapple, you have to figure out, and it's very easy, you can just Google the quantum of sugars in these fruits, and how much you can safely eat without elevating your insulin levels to beyond the point where it stays elevated for a significant amount of time. Because then you become insulin resistant, you become type 2 diabetic, and that is perhaps now one of the least of your worries. Because as the research now comes to mind, insulin is now implicated in high blood pressure, more than salt. It is now implicated in that dreaded disease that is on the rise in the Federation of Sinkers and Nevis, which is Alzheimer's, dementia.
It's called type 3 diabetes.
Right? It's called type 3 diabetes. What they're finding out, the mechanism, how it works, is that sugar in your blood, because the insulin resistance, the sugar is not leaving your blood, it stays in your blood, and it is binding with proteins in your blood. And it's causing a reaction called caramelizing. It's caramelizing your blood. It's forming what you call a plaque. Now, if you go up in your mouth and look in the mirror and look between your teeth, you see some yellow things in there? Between your teeth, that's plaque. It's the same basic form creation, plaque. And what this plaque does, it of course blocks your arteries in particular, reduces the circumference inside for which blood to flow. And so when you have reduced circumference, guess what happens? Your blood pressure goes up. Your blood pressure goes up. These plaques also have been found in your brains, in the brains of persons who have Alzheimer's and dementia. And so rather than looking at all these medications and all, look at your intake of sugar.
Look at what you eat.
Look at your intake of sugar. And they will tell you if you're heading in the right or the wrong direction. All right? I don't want to have a situation where, you can do something about these sugars in your diet and you're doing nothing because it tastes good. It is sweet. It's supposed to taste good. It's a kind of reward center in your brain that tells you, I want more sugar. It is good. And so we gravitate towards sweet stuff, but the higher the insulin levels in your blood, the more you have a problem with caramelization in your blood, the more plaque formation you have, the greater dementia risk, the higher heart disease. Because remember, heart disease is and heart attacks are based on constriction of your blood vessels or blocking of your blood vessels. Insulin increases the bad cholesterol in your body, the LDLs. All right? So you have to be really cognizant of your sugar intake.
And to say, Kel, that nowadays in my discussions with doctors, they say they now classify diabetics as also heart disease patients because you're at increased risk for heart
disease.
Heart disease. So
right.
The other thing to Kel is, having said that, what we now need to do, as if we're going to do, because the prevention is always better than the cure. Take out some of the sugars out the system, drink water. And finally, the doctors are also saying that cancer loves the sweets.
Cancer likes sugars.
Like sugars, so we really have to stop it.
Let's see what's going on. Good afternoon, on target.
Yeah, this is my last call, I promise. Honestly, before I had an issue with this section of the show, because I think you need an entire show for this health tips, but I appreciate it. I really like what you're doing, and I'm not just the sugar, but especially men, they need to go and get checked up every however months, because I did a checkup on I think in February, and when the doctor said, Mr. Wilkie, you're not young anymore, you're going to be 50 years, and it dawned on me, I'm like, wow.
Very important. Very important.
Yeah, you got to get your glucose levels checked. You got to get your HIV status, your AIDS status. You got to get your BMI. You know what I'm saying, based on your height and your age or whatever. So yeah, keep up the good information, man, because it's important.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
All right. Now,
You were saying cancer loves the sweet.
Yes, cancer loves a sweet environment. They love the sugar environment. All right? And I've seen people throw down a 20-ounce bottle of Coke one after the next. My good friend over there in St. James, Bose, I'm talking to you. He tries to appease me by saying, I'm cut back. And I appreciate that. But he smokes, and he's short, and he's round. I mean, I can't afford to lose friends. I got very few friends left. But he's one kind of person that can pick up the phone and call on any time, and he'll do anything for me. So I'll be selfish. I don't want to see him get sick, But in all honesty, we need to take better care of ourselves by guarding and determining what we eat. All right? We should not be allowing things like diabetes, especially type 2. I can forgive type 1. That's a genetic. But type 2 is our fault. And you can see now that sugar is at the heart of things that we were accusing salt of doing. Right? It is. I'm not saying salt in excess is not bad. I'm just saying we know how to be cognizant of sugar more than normal. Let's take this call. Good afternoon, you're on target.
Good afternoon. I saw you from Stinky.
Yes, sir.
Tell me something. What are we supposed to really eat when you're diabetic? Every day you hear something different.
When you're diabetic?
When you're diabetic. You're tired to hear. Maybe not for insulin, but what he are kind of thing. They eat corn off the cup. Corn made from dung. They come from America. Corn. Local people road. And a woman will tell me that they got in 20 starch.
Yeah.
So what are we supposed to eat? I said, they put it on the food,
No, the thing about it, everything in moderation, my brother. The complex starch, which is what you just described, the yam or potato or breadfruit, those are complex starches. It takes a long time for them to digest, and so the sugar enters your blood very slowly. So by the time the sugar enters your blood, the insulin is there, going to drive it into your cells. So what you don't want to have is these massive doses of what we call simple sugars. These empty calorie simple sugars, like sugar, what do you call it now? Brown sugar and white sugar. The processed foods with high sugar contents, even tomato ketchup.
Yes. I eat two whole tomato this morning. Man used to eat a compound of tomato.
No, you don't need that lot.
Tomato, carrot, just eat straight until I don't walk.
All right.
But I don't eat them the most because I'm going to go eat over to buy carrot. That's something we don't boil now. Something we just eat well.
Somebody.
But technology today come as if you tell people, no use this, no use salt, all the other salt. Both and fine, over free there, they sell out over there, right? And that is so can't be. That's what we and never get you people them from me, they live down here, also continue. And that is salt, fish with, salt, meat with, and now here, too much salt, too much this. You know what to say here, and what do. All right, darling.
Thank you. The point though is if you are advanced in age like me, Tulu and Danny, the big plate of food, that's out of the window. Forget that. All right, forget that big plate of food. You need to eat in moderation.
Smaller portions.
All right, smaller portions and complex carbohydrates, very digestible protein, eggs, tuna, fish, sardines, very digestible protein, fatty foods. I mean, like beef, liver, those things are also very good. What you don't want to do is go back again to the vegetable oils, the corn oil and the safflower oil and those kind of oils. Because these things in your diet are going to create problems down the road for you, which you're going to regret you didn't listen to me. No.
The caller mentioned something about salt pan. Could you say something about the salt the guys used to pick?
The salt that them guys used to pick that we grew up on was sea salt, the original sea salt. And it came in crumbles or big flakes. And you just pounded a piece off and put it in your pot. Yeah. Your parents had the idea of knowing how valuable, how much to put in.
Yes.
All right? But those salts are chock full of 99 plus minerals that are essential to health. But we are now buying the Morton's iodized salt, which is garbage. Yeah. That is simple sodium chloride. You don't want that. Spend the extra $3 or $4 or $5 to get the sea salt, whether it's kosher sea salt or Himalayan salt. But these are things
sea salt is advisable.
It's advisable, But getting back to this threat to, and you realize, people, that we are getting more and more cases of Alzheimer's and dementia.
And at earlier periods of time too.
Yeah, and remember, let me just clarify something. Dementia or Alzheimer's is a form of dementia. Right? So we use them interchangeably, but it's just a form. And they're now showing these plaques that are coming up on your MRI, on your CT scans, that are showing your brain. These plaques are created by sugars, copious amounts of sugars in your blood that are now cameralizing with protein to form these plaques. Once those plaques are formed, that section of your brain is dead. You may lose your speech, you may lose your coordination, you may lose memory. That part cannot come back. Your brain cannot regenerate itself. None of your nervous system can regenerate itself. So once it's dead, it is dead. Some people have the luck that your brain can transfer from the left side to the right side, some actions, but that is mostly younger people. Old cows and bulls like me and all you up there. We don't have the capacity. We don't set in stone. All right? So I'm just telling you, if you have a blood sugar level of 90 milligrams, that per deciliter of blood, that is where it's normal. After you finish eating, it shouldn't go much beyond 180, and then it'll come down because insulin is being released to bring it down. If you have sustained levels of sugar in your blood, after 2 hours, you basically either have type 2 diabetes or you're on the way to getting type 2 diabetes. It is a signal to you, reduce your sugar intake substantially. And if you think by drinking a glass of orange juice with full of vitamin C, you see them in the supermarket, vitamin C, what do you call it, enhance or whatever they call it, orange juice, apple juice, believe me, those juices have just as much sugar as a can of Coke. If you are not shocked by that, you should be.
Repeat it for them, Kim.
A 12-ounce serving of orange juice or apple juice having just as much sugar as a 12-ounce can of Coke.
Yeah.
Right? Because during the processing, all of the pulp is removed.
Yes.
Right? All of the fiber is removed. It's concentrated. You want orange juice? Eat an orange.
Eat an orange, right. And then, Kel,
Eat an apple.
I was looking at the Tropicana Pure Premium.
No.
And you see the large amount of sugar, 30-something grams.
It's a lot of sugar in one serving. It is ridiculous.
So if it's supposed to be pure premium, the only pure premium is the orange juice, is the fruit.
Eat the fruit.
Eat the fruit.
By eating the fruit, this is what happens with the fruit. Because of the sugars being intertwined with the fiber, it takes a while for the sugars to be digested out. It has to travel almost the entire length of your intestines, small and large intestines. And by the time you get to your large intestines, the bacteria in your large intestines will digest the fiber, and it's called a probiotic effect, and it gives you enhanced protection against things like colon cancer. All right? So eat the fruit, avoid the drink. Eat the fruit and avoid the drink. If you want vitamin C, take the time and eat the fruit. You don't need to be rushing to drink a glass of orange juice because you figure you're getting vitamin C. Eat the fruit. All right? That's it. We're done with that for today. Can't say I didn't tell you so. All right, moving on. We got a lot today, and we got very short time today. Now, gentlemen, there's something I want to share with you. Let me see if I can find it here on my phone. Here it is. Now, the St. Kitts and Nevis are hoping, St. Kitts and Nevis high schools, 2 high schools in St. Kitts and Nevis, namely the Charles E. Mills Secondary School and the Gingerland Secondary School, have been invited to participate in the pen relays.
Wow.
Now, the pen relays is the oldest and largest track and field event in the United States. It began in 1895, so it has the history. It has the importance.
Big time.
All right? And for these 2 schools to be invited to participate in the largest U.S. track and field event, I find it absolutely remarkable. So congratulations to Charles E. Mills and Gingerland Secondary, forgive me, for being invited. Here's the problem though. There's always a but. This invitation, it was extended some time ago. And parents were brought in, I can speak only to Gingerland Secondary. Parents were brought in to a conference at Gingerland Secondary and told that their students, their kids, are to participate in this relay. Whoop-de-doo, parents are excited. How much will it cost? The parents were assured that, listen, if you come up with half, we are certain that the education department, the Ministry of Sports, and everybody else will put in something in the kitty. Yeah. You guys can raise some money. Some money was raised.
Standard.
Parents had to get these visas out to the Barbados consulate for this to happen. 10 students from Gingerland Secondary. My friends, today is the 19th. The relays start on the 24th. The American sponsors have put in the accommodation, the food, the transport, everything else. All we have to do here in Nevis is to help with half of the airfare for 10 students. Parents have put in $1,600, $1,800, and we are 5 days out from the children going. A meeting, I understand, was held with the Minister of Sports, Troy Liburd, and he's saying the government ain't got no money.
What?
He's saying to the people, the youth of this country, the government doesn't have any money. We're talking about matching the parents, matching the school,
$8,000.
$15,000 max,
Yep.
to help. And this government here, who pays Zook Jeffers $10,000 a month to do nothing, pay Latoya Jones $10,000 a month to do nothing, saying to the Gingerland youth of the Gingerland Secondary School, the government has no money to send you. Right? I have the poster in my hand. Donations needed to assist Team SKN in the USA while at the Penn Relays. At this point? You understand what I'm telling you?
At this late stage?
And they're giving you ways to donate, PayPal, Zelle, Venmo. Right? And you ask, there are several contact numbers that you can call to help. All right? Support is needed to assist Team SKN. He didn't say Team Gingerland, and he didn't say Team Sandy Point or Charles E. Mills. He said Team St. Kitts and Nevis. It means they're carrying the flag of St. Kitts and Nevis.
So what's the role of the federal government in this?
I don't know whether the federal government is helping Charles E. Mills, but this government here on Nevis is saying they have no money. No.
But the government is saying, both government is saying that we must stop say St. Kitts and the Nevis, but we must think in terms that we are citizens, so everything is for the citizenry. Okay, everything is cooperated, and so therefore we should be going with one flag.
With one flag we got.
Gentlemen, this
hold
is
on.
small matters.
Good afternoon, you on target.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Just listening on this, recent government said we ain't got no money.
That's what they're telling the parents and the children.
I think he misspoke. He left off 2 words.
What's that?
For you.
Oh, yeah.
You got a point. You got a point.
For
He
sports.
like to say we ain't got no money for you.
Okay, thank you, sir. I want to read to you something that the Premier said about our youth. And I'll read it to you verbatim. We are all out here with our children showing commitment as an administration to the youth in the country and to the young ones, the very little ones. We clearly hope who we clearly hope will be molded and will grow to be productive citizens in St. Kitts and Nevis. That was Premier Brantley. This is what, hold your calls please, let me get to this. This is what Eric Evelyn said. This is what he said. We will do anything to develop our youth. The ministry will ensure that wherever the funds come from, that we will have the funds to complete programs like these. This is an administration that not only talk the talk, we walk the walk. And that is what we are doing through this program. We are walking the walk with the young, and we want to ensure that our young people have a future, and that is why we are empowering our young people through this program to make them more marketable, yada, yada, yada. Here's another issue I have. The basketball camp hosted by the Prime Minister's office begins today, actually, 19th of April. And this basketball camp, funded by the federal government, has brought in a plane load of NBA players and coaches and staff. And I'll tell you some of them. Antoine Jameson, NBA All-Rookies, twice All-Star, six-time Man of the Year. They're bringing in Juwan Howard, NBA champion Miami Heat, former Michigan coach, Brooklyn Nets assistant coach. So they're bringing in all these people to have a basketball camp, flying them in, hosting them to have a basketball camp. And here is Charles emails down there in Sandy Point asking for donations, and they're saying, we not got no money. And so our young people who wants to go, you talk about 10 people from St. Kitts and 10 from Nevis.
It's 20 people.
Invited to the pen relays so that they can open the eyes and the horizons to bigger and better things. And we are saying we don't have $15,000 as a government. This is what we're telling our young people, that we don't have $15,000 to help our youth who have excelled, showed their strength and commitment. Running is not easy, you know.
No, but this is unusual, Kel, because as far as I know, and I can speak for the last many years, all the national teams, and I'm speaking to Nevis, the Cricket Association, the Netball Association, the Football Association, has always been able to collaborate with the government and to move some resources. It has never happened that this kind of thing takes place because the parents, as you say, I remember sending a group of young footballers to Minnesota. We raised some of the money, and the government raised the money. So this is highly unusual.
But
highly unusual.
What Troy is saying is that it was not budgeted for.
No, but we're not even so.
Listen,
you and I know that is
it's garbage.
It's garbage. Okay.
There are contingencies in budgets.
You shift from one to the other.
All right, where money can be moved.
Of course.
All right. Now, you got to understand the gravity of this.
It's serious.
Eric Evelyn.
It takes a conscience to care.
Eric Evelyn. Hold on. Eric Evelyn, right, is the area rep for Gingerland. He's a parliamentary representative of Gingerland. Mark Brantley said he born Hanley Part, another Gingerland man. Troy Liebert, out of Gingerland.
Mm-hmm. All them went to school there.
Right? All them went to school there. And you're trying to tell me that the Premier, not Troy Liebert, not Eric Evelyn, none of them can muster any influence to move $15,000 in over a month and a half
They're making it sound like
Of
15
begging
million. It's not 15
by parents.
It's not 15 million.
How you square these circles?
No, because see another thing which, and you're aware of this, Kel. Another thing which we've done, I used to be the director of community affairs. We can't find any money. What you do, you sit with the minister and you say, you know what, let me call somebody who would be able to make a contribution. If you're really interested in finding the money, you find it, as I have said repeatedly, it takes the conscience to care, and when you have the conscience to care, you find the cash. Because, Kel, when you sit in government, you also have connections with corporate people. And I'm not even going out there. The government finding $15,000 is small matters in the government.
That is,
system.
I was
That's what I
shocked.
would
I
say.
was actually shocked too.
Are you sure it's 15,000, Kel, or it's 150,000?
Tulu, I was shocked. When I asked the quantum that was short by,
It's 150,000.
I had to ask 3 times to make sure I heard $15,000.
It's 150,000.
No. $15,000. And Brantley is saying the government ain't got no money to send them. And you know what else I heard Troy Level say? I ain't gonna win anyway, so why you going?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that is what I'm here thinking, Dr. Daly, what you come from, what I'm saying. I'm here sitting down and saying, people treat you the way they think of you, the way they see you. And if you don't see them as failure, you are not going to invest in them because you're saying, it's just like what you did, Hensley. When you send these young men to Trinidad to train, remember that the biggest critic of this program was Mark Brantley. He felt it was a waste of time to invest money on these young men. And so it's the same mentality they has.
But
I was here thinking while you're speaking, I'm saying, something doesn't add up. 15,000, it doesn't add up. It means that the administration is saying that we are not going to invest in these children because they will amount to nothing.
Mm-hmm. Basically that.
That is what is vibrating through my mind, because I'm saying for culture and for other activities, the government go out and get sponsors to sponsor what they want to sponsor. Whatever they want to sponsor, they find money for that. Mark Brantley could, you don't have to close the eyes. But close the eyes and pay the money. Troy Level could do it. Eric Evelyn could do it. Every one of them could say, listen, we are going to invest in our children and we are going to put our hands in our pocket, like Joseph Parry used to do. I know about that, and Hensley used to do. Put the hand in their pocket and take out money to assist people, like Carl Paul used to do. Put his hands in his pocket and pick out thousands of dollars to help.
All I know.
Kel, sorry, just one thing. Kel, based on what you say, I think we have to understand the gravity of the situation. You're saying that the hosts, the pen relay organizers, they are taking care of accommodation. The parents, of course, all the parents want the children to go. They were told. They have committed to half the money.
Yeah.
The only element missing is the government.
Yeah.
So how do you send? So when they leave here, they're representing the people of Nevis and St. Kitts. So you're saying that the one element missing is the government?
The government has been doing this stuff for a long time, and we are not connecting the dots. The government decided that dialysis treatment in Nevis is necessary. We know it's necessary. We have people sick. And the government is saying that we prefer to set more people all over the place and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars than to spend an extra $5,000 to bring the dialysis units on the island of Nevis. And when out of the kindness of the supplier's heart that they decide to still to send it, the government of Nevis, because they do not care about the people, they chose to sit down and allow these units to rot.
Let's take this call. Good afternoon, on target.
Good afternoon. Thank you for taking my call. I want to say 2 things.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, whatever anybody says or does, whatever any action they take, is a reflection of who they are.
Big point.
You got it?
Yes.
Big point.
No, it's not the first time that the CCM government is doing this kind of thing. In 2006, my name is Jan Grelhall from Netball. So we had a team to go to Barbados. Mr. Amory, who was the premier, said, go ahead, raise your funds, and whatever you all need, we will fill it in. We went ahead, we raised our funds and everything, and we needed $26,000 to get to Barbados, along with St. Kitts. About a week before we were ready to go, here Mr. Amory calls and says, I'm sorry, but we can't do it again. We don't have any money. I had to go and take a loan in my name so that this netball team could go to Barbados. Doing it for the exposure of the young people and the development of the young people. The same thing St. Kitts did. Because you remember I had a travel agency, so all the bookings are being done through my travel agency. Up to this day, St. Kitts Netball Association still has over $8,000 for me for tickets. So these kind of things that's happening has been allowed to happen over the years. And it's about time it stops. Because they're not doing anything to help the young people, to develop the young people, because people coming up now, nobody's going to go and take a personal loan to send a netball team anywhere or a basketball team or whatever. Everybody's thinking about themselves. So I just wanted to draw this to the attention of the public, because maybe the public doesn't have any clue, or I can say the public doesn't have any clue what goes on in these associations when we're trying to raise funds. And that government has never helped us to go anywhere. We always raise our funds. I'm sure you never heard about netball going around begging money. The only time we would beg is if we have raised and we need the balance. And so we go to government. Government says, yes, we'll help you. Then a week before, oh, we don't have any money. They don't care. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Now, this is the problem, because if you have a government that has been in office since 2013 till now, and promise all sorts of things for youth and blah blah blah, and you can't find in your conscience to raise $15,000 to match parents and a commitment the school gave to the parents and the children, I don't know what else to say. Let's take this call. Good afternoon, on target.
Yeah, good afternoon to you fellas, man.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, let me just make a quick short point, man. As I'm hearing you talking about the opportunity for the kids to go off to the pen relays, that's, by any means necessary, man. We got to make sure those kids, we got to make sure those kids get on that plane. Because I'm going to tell you why, man. Me, myself, used to be in track and field when I was in CSS. And I'm going to just put this in a personal perspective. I had to migrate to the Virgin Islands and went to the Charlotte Amalie High School. And guess what?
Hello? Hello?
Call job.
Yeah, call job. Anyway, we're moving on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, he called back.
Case back up, yeah,
Yeah, make it quick.
Yeah, let me just wrap up real quick, man. Like I was saying, right? I had to migrate to the Virgin Islands and go to Charlotte Amalie High School down in the St. Thomas in order for me to get to the pen relays. And just to tell you guys, right, you won't believe what happened when I got to Pennsylvania in that pen relay stadium. I was fortunate to saw Janice Kelly.
Oh, yes.
And I know Daniel know who Janice Kelly is.
Yes. Of course. 3D.
I went to the pen relays representing Charlotte Amalie High School. And I saw Janice Kelly at the stadium, at the pen relays the day before. And when I asked her, where is Philson Lescott? She said Philson ran the day before. I wasn't able to see Philson. But look at what we got to go through sometimes, man. And now we having our young kids in Nevis and St. Kitts having a chance to go to the pen relays. This government, governments, got to make sure that happens, man. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the first time, Kel, so many people have ever gone from Nevis.
Yeah.
10. Wow.
Good afternoon. You're on target.
A pleasant good afternoon to each and everyone. They calling from Tinky.
Yes. Good afternoon.
They cannot help the kids them of the federation. But I will let you ask, how much money they have to pay for the plane to go to Nigeria? Somebody spend one day and this is a burning shame. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you very much. Yes, it's inevitable that you're going to do comparisons between government expenditure on these matters because these are our kids. And having an opportunity like that to go to Pennsylvania, to the biggest event in the American calendar, all right? It is something of a lifetime. It changes people's lives.
But in
right?
Jamaica,
So
Kel,
we really need to...
the athletes are fired up.
We really need to do better as a country and to measure our commitments and our priorities because I don't see how a basketball camp takes precedence over making sure that all can be done.
It's not neither.
It's not either. It's all them.
It's small money.
Because there's a group, I was watching the opening ceremony for Kerfta yesterday in Trinidad. We had a group of persons there from the Federation. The government of course, taken responsibility for that. And so these are the kind of things that show and demonstrate you're indeed interested in the well-being and empowerment of our young people. Let's take this call. Good afternoon, you're on target.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
My good friend Tulo. And Mr. Daniel.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Daly surprising you? Them things shouldn't be surprising you, Daly and Tulo.
It's not so much surprising, it's disappointing.
Let me ask you a question, Mr. Daly. When the kids them supposed to leave?
The 26.
Well, I could tell you, if the fellow Timothy was there, them children would have go, Them children would have go. Because money would have fine to let it. I mean, these people got to be crazy. These people carry a contingent to Nigeria. What happened to the youth? Daily, have a good afternoon. I will be back while you get through your program.
Thank you very much. All right, so, we're going on. All right, so we have, basically to summarize, we got 10 students from Charles emails, we got 10 students from Gingerland Secondary that need help from the government to match what the parents and the school have put in, and all the fundraisers have gone to help the program. And if parents in this guava crop, we're not rich people, can dig deep and find $1,500, $1,600, $1,700 to help with the ticket, I mean, good gosh, man. But Troy is from Gingerland, from Pond Hill. Eric is from Gingerland, from Hanley's Part. The Premier from Gingerland, from Hanley Part. And so you got 3 sitting members in Parliament, in Cabinet, and you're trying to tell me they cannot leverage $15,000 among them?
If I see you as nothing,
yeah,
I will treat you as though you are nothing.
Okay,
and this is a classic case of it. I mean, when I listen to what you read from the Premier and from Eric, they are glowing words, but the actions has demonstrated to us that word means absolutely nothing, because words is empty when help is needed and you are in a position to help. I read your thesis that you post that you put out earlier this week, and it set me to think and to ask myself, have I done enough to help the people in the society who needs our help? What can I do to assist? And one of the reasons why I am so late today is because I was moved by that to go out of the way to do something for somebody while I was on the way here, to make sure, because it's somebody who is needed in the society. The people in the government to understand this, that they're in a position to look after the people of this country, especially the poor, especially those in need. That is what they said to us that they want to do. That is what the government said in the post.
Words on paper.
Words on paper mean absolutely nothing.
The loudest way to speak is by doing.
That's it. And
folks, we have to move on. We have to move on. We have to move on. We got quite a bit to touch.
But that is vexing, Daily. It's annoying.
Tulu, you ever heard the name Porsha Williams?
Porsha Williams, no.
No? Danny,
no,
you never did any Porsha Williams?
That's the lady who was posting things, glowing things about the premier? And
No. Porsha Williams is a cyber influencer. The story is that, well, the fact is, she came into the Federation, I think it's in Nevis, to do basically a promotion of Nevis. People are saying, school children say the government paid the airfare for she and her sister and put them up at 4 Seasons for 10 days at all cost to the government and the people of Nevis. And during that period of time, she was, of course, eating and drinking, doing all kind of photo shoots, promoting all kind of things. And then on the day she went back to the States, she went to this radio program, this TV program, to give this big reveal. I had a wonderful vacation. You know where she said she went?
No, she went.
She said she spent 10 days in St. Kitts. The host was so shocked. The woman asked her, "So you didn't get over to Nevis?" He said, No. We took a plane and a bird and a boat, but we didn't get over to Nevis. This is the level at which we have sunk. That we are hiring as a people and depending on cyber influencers, they ain't got one brain cell in their head to keep them upright. And so the joke on the internet all yesterday and the day before was that this woman didn't know she was. She spent 10 days in Nevis.
And didn't know she was in
Nevis. She thought she was in St. Kitts. Mind you, she flew into St. Kitts, at RLB. Took a taxi from RLB to Reggae Beach. The water taxi from Reggae Beach to Orly. Carried down to 4 Seasons. And she don't know where she was for 10 days. So everybody blaming Brantley because they say he hired her. And so he put on a post here to say, listen, I don't even know the woman.
Mm-hmm. He didn't know Martinez either. There's a lot of people he did not know.
The man said, he didn't know the woman. He said he got my hair nothing to do with it. He never sees such rubbish in his life. The man threw poor Porsha under the bus.
Wait. So what?
And there are pictures of him dressed in all white.
With Porsha?
With Porsha, who dressed in all white.
Yeah. No.
And he said, I don't know who the woman be. My government had nothing to do with that. Now, if she had said, I had a wonderful time in Nevis, not St. Kitts.
Or St. Kitts, Nevis.
No, Nevis.
Oh, Nevis.
If she had said we had a wonderful time in Nevis, and I visited and I had the premier is fabulous. He treated me like a queen. You're like, here, well done, my true and favorite servant. You know what I mean? But because she remember she was in Nevis for 10 days. You remember Timothy Harris used to say, 14 days!
Yeah, lockdown. And 14 days again. And the premier was in the background.
14 days!
So 10 days.
10 days!
Whining and
dining.
At 4 Seasons.
At 4 Seasons.
Top of the line.
Down by Sunshine, up by Bath Hotel. She bikini. I mean, she looked good. She looked.
Oh, you saw her?
I mean, I saw the pictures.
Okay.
She's scrumptious.
And she is in a photo, you say, with the premier.
The premier, after this whole thing blew up, the premier went and scrub off all them pictures off Instagram, you know.
But the thing about it, no, something is wrong.
What is wrong?
Something is wrong.
It blew up. That's what's wrong.
If the premier indeed paid to bring her to Nevis and to pay for her accommodation at the 4 Seasons, prestigious 4 Seasons, and then the premier is saying that I do not know her. Well, how come he released money to put her up?
Well, the man say he didn't say he didn't know. He said he don't know who she be.
Well, how you brought somebody from in the States, put them up 4-star, treat them with 5-star
Porsha
treatment
Williams.
without knowing who they are.
Watcha. This thing blew up because it backfired bigly. It backfired because she made a colossal error by giving credit to Senkits and not to the Premier.
But just simply say it was an error in our speech. It was an error. You know? Don't try under the bus and say that you don't know her, you don't know anything about her. That is degrading and insulting. That is worse than what she did. Now, there are some places that you go, because I remember one time I went to Barbados, and when I was asked where I'm from, and I said, Nevis. Where in Antigua is that? Where in Sinkers is that? I could understand that in some people's mind that happened. So the Premier could have said, listen, the lady misspoke. But to say that you knows nothing about her, he made the situation worse.
Listen, the man is a fool.
Oh boy.
Right? The MSR matter,
He did not know.
he paid $3.6 million to keep MSR down at 4 seasons. 3.6 million. God knows how much this bill is. Right? For she and her sister. I don't know. The school children say the government pay. Mark said no, the government pay a cent. But I guarantee you, if things had gone the way, he'd have said money well spent. You can't trust nothing this man says. Nothing he says. Because...
Let us hope we didn't pay a cent.
No. There are 2 fake pages. And this is a continuum. There are 2 fake pages out there that appear on my feed all the time. All right? One called Nevis Forward, and the other one Nevis Business.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys out there who are populating these pages with your comments or your likes or whatever it is, stop it. Stop it. These are Mark Brantley CCM sponsored pages. They're using this information to see who you are and to bombard you with questions and articles and whatever it is they need to coerce your thinking into voting for CCM. All right? This is a trick they're using. You remember 2 years ago, before the 2022 elections, he was being celebrated across the globe as Dr. Brantley, given all kind of doctorates, honorary doctorates here, left, right, and center.
3 of them.
He had articles written, ghost writers writing articles about how great he is as a leader. Always in foreign press, Jamaica Gleaner. He put an article inside there. Now it is the Washington
Post?
No. Washington Times. An article in there saying he is one of the 3 top Caribbean leaders. Pure garbage propaganda. And so these 2 fake profile pages are along the same line, trying to influence your thinking that he is the best thing since sliced bread. This Porsha Williams was to fit into that dynamic. Right? To sway people to believe everything in Nevis is good because, you see, she down there drinking honey, killer bees, getting massages, getting the best food.
Lovely beach,
lovely scenery. And so that equates to things being well.
For her.
Things being well. So she could go back to the States and tell people, I don't know what NRP people talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know what these people on the road talking about. I had a blast. I was treated like a queen. Things are good.
Cost me nothing.
This gentleman is building Nevis brick by brick.
Yeah.
And so that whole thing backfired and the whole thing crumbled. But he said he ain't no she, so I have to believe him.
You believe him?
Yeah, I believe him.
Is there believing that he do not know what his name is?
NEVLEC, we're rushing through because we got not much time. NEVLEC is on the spotlight again. Unfortunately, nothing good. Where do I begin? NEVLEC has 4 fuel tanks, diesel tanks, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tulu, would you be surprised if I told you that if you go to the power plant If you've been to the power plant in the last month, maybe 6 weeks till now, 1 out of the 4 tanks are full at any given time. Never 2, never 3, never 4. And each tank will give you about 3 and 4 days of service, of fuel. So we are living, NEVLEC is living on the edge.
We are on fumes.
That if that vessel that comes in from wherever they come for fuel for Delta does not come in because of the delay, because of storm, and those tanks are not full, then NEVLEC runs the fuel. I can't understand why NEVLEC, which generates $1 million plus per cycle of billing, have to be stinging on fuel. And the reason being, again, the government is not paying for the consumption and putting NEVLEC in a cash flow problem. Those tanks should be always full of fuel, not depleted, not running on 1 out of 4. No.
You're absolutely certain? Because I'm surprised.
You are surprised?
Yeah, to hear that 1 or 3 out of the 4 are empty. It's surprising. Not supposed to happen. All should be filled.
But all of these things here adding up. So where does this happen?
Last week, the Premier said to a caller, Nevis is doing good, things are going great. Mm-hmm. So if things are going great, how is it that we have 3 tanks empty? Nothing in reserve?
Nothing in reserve. We got 1 tank that has in some fuel, and the rest are empty. I don't understand how we can run a country like this. I really don't know how. How?
And he claims the country is running good. Things are good.
NEVLEC cannot help it because you need money to buy. You see, Delta doesn't want to give any extended credit. Delta can manfully go on fully 4 tanks. But they know they're going to probably wait a year to get paid. Right? Delta sells about $1 million plus dollars worth of fuel to the government every month. To NEVLEC every month, $1 million plus every month. So if you figure $750,000 per tank, and only 1 tank you can fill, that it tells you that's all the money they have to fill, $750,000. Because I don't think Delta is going to give any more credit, given what happened before, where they had to go to the bank to borrow money to pay Delta. Right? So Delta is not fooling around. They want the money. They have the obligations also, and I respect that. The government needs to pay their fair share. If the government was to pay their $1 million a month of what they consume, NEVLEC can buy their fuel. Simple as that. Pay your bills. Good afternoon, Target.
Good afternoon, Dr. Daly.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good on, Mr. Daniel. Yes, NEVLEC tanks.
Mm-hmm.
You ever thought it might be strategic purchasing?
Strategic? How so?
They waited for the price of oil to go down. And then they go for that.
Okay. That might be the plan.
No.
Well, it's a logical explanation. All things being equal.
That has nothing to do with it.
Thank you, caller.
Has nothing to do with it. The government, NEVLEC, cannot afford to pay for the fuel. That's what it is.
And the reason NEVLEC can't afford to pay?
Because the Mark Brantley administration is not paying.
Okay, thank you very much. You're a good student, you know. Yeah.
To the top of the class.
Yes. So, Vance Emory International Airport promotion. You saw it on. They posted a video promotion of the 3 Stooges, the 3 clowns over there at the airport, doing I don't know what the hell it was, some kind of promo that things are looking well here on Nevis, and so they celebrated the fact that we now have 2 destinations. We have 2 destinations that the government is so proud of. That you have daily flights to St. Thomas, and you have every other day flights to St. Martin.
So they're Boston and KPA.
KPA and Rainier.
But people must understand that KPA was here under Joseph Parry.
But it doesn't.
And Vance, and the same people ran the KPA. And they has to go out to KPA.
The silliness of this is this. The silliness of this. They couldn't find a single passenger
To
put in the video. It's all
you're making joke.
it's all staff. It was all staff in the video. So, and it was so poorly acted. You know, it was like, I never seen acting like this, you know? Eric was like, you know, Brand started out. I'm going to St. Martin. And Eric was like, me too.
You dropped that
I
last
am
one, right?
not. I'm going to say in the video. Eric was like, me too. And then Brandy comes in, well, I'm going to St. Thomas.
Hensley, something got it right there?
Good afternoon. You're on target.
Yeah, good afternoon, gentlemen. You was always speaking about Porsha Williams.
Yes.
Porsha Williams is a dumb, I would say a dumb girl on Housewives of Atlanta.
Okay.
So I'm calling from Montserrat, actually. Good afternoon.
All right. Thank you very much for that.
Thanks for calling.
All right. Yeah. But they couldn't find. They had to splice in an old video of a plane taking off. It was just pathetic.
People, only one thing we have to say to the people of Nevis. In all the matters you raise of we live here. You all live here. We live here. So speak to your reality.
Good afternoon, you're on target.
Yeah, good afternoon to the listening public.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to the guys that are in the studio. It is clear, very much clear, that the fella can't manage our business. He cannot manage it. They have proven to us that he can't manage. But here we may say again this afternoon, I have CCM, NRP, whoever you be, let me join together. You deal with the nigger man. We can't wait till 2027 yet. Let me join together now. And you deal with the man. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much for that. Now, I thought they would have used the promotion of the airport to say, listen, in June, we promise you that we'll have a groundbreaking ceremony. And the staff of 2020 Vision Radio will be invited. I expected him to tell us that we have secured the financing. We're going to sign the loan agreement for the $130 million. We are going to sign the contractual agreement for the work to be done and all that. Instead, all he could do was to co-opt some members of staff to make this stupid video about two planes, one going to St. Martin and one going to St. Thomas. Oh, jeez, man. We got to do better than this. We deserve better than this. We deserve better than this.
This is another of the plots of the Premier of Navies, is to say to the people, be contented with whatever you have, whatever I'll give you. It's the very same thing he said about the PA, the very same thing he said about the hospital, it's the very same thing he said about the Mundo truck. But he's basically saying, at least they are in use, or they are usable. And someone else is making about whatever else you're making is about. But the Premier is playing out of the Nazi playbook. If you deceive the people, tell the people a lie often enough, they're going to believe it. And he has opted this Nazi playbook. I am convinced that he has videos of how the Nazi did thing, and he's doing the very same thing on the people of Nevis.
Gentlemen, we move on. I want to play you a tape from Wednesday night's show of On The Mark. He's being questioned by a caller about several things. We're going to play 3 videos back to back, 3 audios tape back to back. No, I think I'll do it different. I think topic by topic. So this first tape here, the caller is asking about what became of the donation, the $167,000 US
for dialysis
donation for the dialysis equipment at Alexandra Hospital. So listen carefully to the question and the answer given.
Prime Minister Drew, when he got into office, called me one day and he said to me, Premier, are you aware of this money that comes every year from Taiwan? I told him no. And he said, well, he was surprised to hear that, but he is making a commitment that 25% of that money will come to me.
No, that's not the right one. That's not the right one.
No, okay.
I think the engineer screwed up on this one here. That's not the right tape.
That's $167,000.
Yeah, the caller asked him specifically. I do apologize for this. The caller, the engineer put in the wrong tape.
Okay.
I don't know why, because I sent it to him specifically, and so he put in the wrong one. All right, I understand the mistakes that happen.
Yes.
All right, but the caller essentially asked Mr. Brantley, what became of the $167,000 given to the government of Nevis for the dialysis? And if you don't believe me, look on your screen, those of you in the Facebook or YouTube, you will see a picture of the Taiwanese ambassador flanked by the premier and the administrator of the hospital and another young lady there. That is a picture that was taken, the handing over ceremony for the $167,000 gift. Brantley said, and I'm so sorry I didn't have the tape, but I'll make it available on a Facebook post. In answer to the question, Brantley said to the world, the money was not given to purchase any dialysis machines.
Not in Targoso.
Hold on. The money was not given to purchase any equipment. As far as he knows, the money was given to be spent, whoever the government sees fit, anything related to dialysis. That's basically what he said in a nutshell. That's what he said. At the ceremony, at this handing over ceremony, this is what the ambassador said. The ambassador said this, and I quote, we are here to present a check in the amount of US $167,000 as a part of the funding for the project of control and prevention of chronic kidney disease, CKD. The amount is meant to procure hemodialysis machines and the water systems, etc. And I really believe in the near future, all the CKD patients don't have to travel to St. Kitts anymore. They can enjoy the service here in Nevis. This was in 2018, December.
That's the ambassador speaking.
The ambassador speaking. Directly refuting what the premier said Wednesday night, 2025. The ambassador said it himself, that this money is to procure hemodialysis machines and the water systems. Brantley saying Ntagoso. He said Ntagoso.
Oh boy.
You understand? This is the level of evil we are dealing with in this country. We have the video evidence, we have the audio evidence, and this man gonna look at us in the face and tell us nothing goes on.
So we are being said, he's suggesting to us that what we are seeing, Kelly, is not true.
What we are seeing and hearing is not true.
Yeah.
Really?
Somebody had said that. I think was Trump who said something like that. What you see, you didn't see. And what you hear? No, you didn't hear that too. But we were familiar and we grew up around Dabby. Out of Dabby and
no, don't put Dabby in them category.
Because Dabby is at a higher level than him, man.
I wouldn't put Dabby in the same sentence as Mark.
Okay, good. All right. I mean, how could you lie to a public like this when you know the information is out there? But you know what happened? He does it because he knows some people are going to accept it regardless of what he says.
The money's gone.
The money, well, that's what he said.
The money is gone.
You've been saying that for a long time.
The money's gone.
He just confirmed what you've been saying.
All right? So he's trying to say that the money was intended to use for anything related to dialysis. He said some people went off the train we know not to be a fact.
Yeah.
You know, these are the... Anyway, let's take this call. Good afternoon, on target.
When we want a nigger man to do it, come tell Nevis people what you do with the money. Come, buy the machine them. Come tell her what you do with the money, brethren. Because he was in opposition, I call people thief, He was in opposition, I call people thief. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much. That's a good question. Why did you do the money? Because, and if I was a Taiwanese ambassador, and that's the problem we have diplomacy, when you have diplomatic people who are very on edge about everything. Because if I give you money for a purpose, and you use it other than what I gave it for,
but not only using it, you lie about it because the ambassadors specifically stated what it was for. And the premier is saying something absolutely opposite to what the ambassador said. But will they say anything? Who is going to pull him up on this? Who is going to fact check him? It has to be us. Nobody else is going to do it.
But that's the level of deviousness that he can lie with a straight face. The same lie he said he don't know Porsha. He never brought them here. How anybody can believe anything you say?
But he said
when everything you can be fact checked and all your lies can be exposed. You have lost all credibility. People don't trust anything he says anymore. And this is the bigger picture. I mean, these are small instances of lying, but on the fullness of it, it has led to a total erosion of trust in a government. And what do you do with a government you don't trust anymore? You keep voting for them?
That's what
you keep electing them? You keep giving them the opportunity to lie some more?
We did it in the past, but we are going to change that this next time around. But we have to keep in mind that the premier single-handedly is the most dangerous individual that ever
I
exists on the island of Nevis.
I got a tape. The tape, the engineer went in and engineered it for me.
Okay.
So here
Let's play it.
Hear the tape.
Did the Taiwanese give you some money one time to buy some dialysis machine? And if so, did you buy them? And if you didn't buy them, why you didn't buy them? I'll listen off here.
Okay, thank you very much, caller. I'm not aware that any funds would have come in to buy dialysis machines from Taiwan. We have never, as a government, set out to purchase any dialysis machines. We have had various training that has been offered for kidney care. In fact, we had a program with Taiwan dealing with kidneys, and we have had staff, including our nurses, who have traveled to Taipei and have had training. We have focused on care, preventative care, health education. We have focused on trying to get people to eat right, to exercise, and to avoid the NCDs, largely diabetes and hypertension, that are precursors for kidney failure. But I am not aware of any program to purchase dialysis machines because this government has never sought to purchase any machines. We have said that when our hospital wing is complete, we will seek to offer dialysis services at that hospital wing. But in the interim, we are subsidizing the dialysis treatment that our patients are getting at the JNF hospital in St. Kitts. That has been our position.
I want to play the first part again.
Oh my goodness.
I want to play the first part again. Listen very carefully.
Oh my goodness.
Did the Taiwanese give you some money one time to buy some dialysis machine? And if so, did you buy them? And if you didn't buy them, why you didn't buy them? I'll listen off here.
Okay, thank you very much, caller. I'm not aware that any funds would have come in to buy dialysis machines from Taiwan.
I'm not aware that any funds were brought in, were given by Taiwan to buy any machines. That's what he said Wednesday. And I'll read to you one more time for the record
What the
ambassador said.
The person who put the check in his hand.
We are here to present a check in the amount of $167,000 US as part of the funding for the project of control and prevention of chronic kidney disease. The amount is meant to procure hemodialysis machines and the water systems. Jesus wept. Jesus wept.
The shortest verse in
So you are telling us, the people of Nevis, that you defrauded the Taiwanese government, that you took their money under false pretenses, because the ambassador is not that delinquent to not have known that he is giving money for the furtherance of buying equipment.
Well, that's what he said. That's exactly
But didn't
right.
the same premier go to Guyana and go say that he's going to buy the dialysis equipment?
Let's take this call.
What a tangled web.
Good afternoon, you're on target.
Hear me again. Nevis people want to know what you do with the money. Like, come tell us what you do with the money. He was in opposition, I call people thief. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, sir. All right. Next tape. Next tape. He was asked about the hospital completion. This is the question.
Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark. Hello? Oh, we've lost that caller. Caller, please try again. It looks like we're having a little problems with the phones. They're lighting up as if there's a call, but then we're not getting the individual. So please call in. If one number is ringing busy, call the next one, 469-1616, 469-1700. Those are the numbers that you can call to be a part of the show this evening. So, yes, let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Yeah, so Mr. Bartley, can you tell me when the hospital is going to finish so we could get these kind of treatment?
Okay, well, caller, we have given... Okay, caller, we've given a number of updates. I can't tell you when the hospital is going to finish until I can tell you when it's going to restart, because you must have a start before you can have a finish. So what we've done, as we've updated before, we have asked our friends from Taiwan to assist. I can tell you that the Taiwanese have now come back, a company called OECC, I think they're called. They have now come back with their analysis and a costing, and the cabinet is considering that very carefully to determine how we move forward. We have said that we will resume the construction efforts this year. As we have pointed out time and time again, the exterior of the hospital, the physical shell, is complete. But what we now must focus on now is the internal configuration and the internal build-out. That is where the technical aspects of...
I stop it there for a reason. Because he's going to continue on to say that the care you're getting now is superior to any care you have ever gotten, even though the wing is not complete. All right? That is what he's going to end up saying. It becomes a speech about nothing. All right, because anybody can testify that the care now at the Alexandria Hospital is superior in any fashion. They haven't visited. Because the nurses will tell you we are strained, the doctors will tell you we are strained, we need more help, we need more medicines, we need more technical equipment. So if he's telling you that, then he's woefully misguided.
It's not misguided. It's intentional.
All right? Now, he says that the Taiwanese are on board and they have given him the costing. Deliberate enough not to say what the costing is. Deliberate to say when he can start or where the finance is going to come from. So again, another non-answer. Right? 3 years, it's 3 years now, nothing has gone up there. They put $10 million in the budget for 2025. We are now into April, going into May. Not a lick of stroke has happened. I mean, this government is just they're bankrupt for ideas, they're bankrupt for cash. They don't know what the hell they're doing. You know, we're running out of time and we still got quite a bit to go. So, I want to play the third video, the third audio from this Wednesday night show. Here it is.
They are all producing food, largely leafy greens and tomatoes and things like that in a controlled environment, and the yield is quite good. We have been trying to incentivize our fisher folk. I mentioned free fish pot wire and reduced amounts on the fish pot wire. We have continued, caller, to try to partner with the farming community so that we can produce more food. The big initiative that we also announced was our broiler industry. We were trying to create a slaughterhouse so that we could introduce more local chicken and more local chicken meat being available for consumption. It might surprise your caller to know that Nivisions are actually consuming more chicken and fish, and so all of our chicken is imported, so we are working on that as well. So I say that to say that we have been continuing to make efforts. The broiler production facility, we hope that we can be able to get that out of the ground and constructed this year. We have some funding that's lined up to hopefully allow us to do that. We have gone through various iterations of what that will look like, but I think we have now the necessary plans dealing with a firm out of Canada. And so, as you know, we would have already invested in a self-contained unit, processing unit, that is on island and in storage. And so we just now need the building to proceed. We've identified some land right there by the back of the current abattoir where we hope to do that. So all of these are efforts that we are making insofar as food security is concerned to ensure that we feed ourselves and we can do a better job of it.
Kel, just very quickly before you go, the comments. When this fella showed up for politics, you heard me say several times, he has an amazing ability to talk foolishness in standard English. I mean, if you play that tape, you as an agricultural scientist, Kel, if he goes on for 25 minutes, you tell me a point you could get out of that.
The project, this broiler project, they would have acquired the equipment. The equipment came on island in May of 2023. And according to the estimates, and to him, the equipment cost the people of Nevis $286,600 US. All right, that's the cost for the.
How much?
286,600 US for the equipment. Okay. That doesn't include shipping and handling and all that. All right, they had the groundbreaking for the facility in June of 2023. Right. They also announced that 60 acres of land at Webb's Estate, that is just down from Hickman's, Webb's Estate, 60 acres will be made available to farmers interested in going into commercial broiler production. And the idea was those farmers at Webb's would feed their broilers into the processing plant at Prospect, and the meat, chicken products will be on the market, local products will be on the market. That was the concept. We are now learning that the 60 acres is no longer available. We have now experienced the fact that the broiler processing plant is going to approach 2 years since groundbreaking in June, has not licked one stone out of the ground. In the meanwhile, the government is paying $3,000 a month to store the equipment over there at Long Point. This is the state, this is where we are. This is where we are. All right? I want to play a video of the ceremony to establish the broiler processing plant. Here it goes.
Ceremony for the construction of a poultry processing facility at the Prospect Industrial Site, Nevis. The idea of the poultry industry began during the period of the COVID-19 pandemic under former Minister of Agriculture Alexis Jeffers and with the assistance of the government and people of the Republic of China on Taiwan. The project took the significant step forward. Current Minister of Agriculture in the Nevis Island Administration, Eric Evelyn, said the facility will help farmers to further develop their businesses.
We here in Nevis, we are serious about growing more of what we eat and eating more of what we grow. When we embark on this project, we here will be putting more local food on the plates of Nevisians and residents. And of course, we are also serious in the fact that we want small businesses to grow and thrive. Because guess what? When we construct this broiler facility, our main collaborators and partners will be our farmers. Our farmers are the ones who will be producing the chickens. And so the farmers are the ones who most of the money will trickle down to. And so when we say we are serious about small businesses, and we are serious about small businesses growing and thriving on the island of Nevis, this groundbreaking is another demonstration that we are serious about small businesses.
The plant, designed to produce output for local and regional sales, will be just over 6,750 square feet and will be constructed on land over 28,280 square feet. Len Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
Chickens. I didn't know something called chickens. You know chickens, Tolu? You have chickens up in Hamilton? I thought you had chickens.
No, I have some chickens at home. I have some chickens at home.
Girl, this is for girl, I will leave you to respond. You respond to her. You're in agriculture.
He's the expert.
He has chickens to slaughter. I mean, this is just so comical. 2 years on the road, next month, June gonna make 2 years since this groundbreaking ceremony. You know, and not a lick in sight. The Premier is saying that they have outsourced basically the design and construction to a Canadian entity. If we can't build a shell, my goodness.
But Daly, pause there. Let me interrupt your business a little bit. The Premier, the health of the people of Nevis, the citizens of Nevis, the Premier put it in the hand of Spencer Brand. But a broiler industry, a shell for a chicken and chicken meat, according to the Premier.
Chickens
and chicken meat. He has to outsource it to somebody in Canada. So the chicken's preparation is more valuable than the people of Nevis.
The humans.
The humans.
The humans.
Oh, Lord, have mercy upon us.
Good afternoon, on target.
Good afternoon. Why you mean, right? You think that you can need this and you can from Ohio. What does it mean by small business? I want to explain to me good when I don't come out before.
What do you mean by what?
First to me see, right? I 71 years, right? And in Kenya where I come from, had up to 15 local shops. If you come to join them in every region, I think it's Kenya and that much is over. You can't see people who go boy, right? So you could have to give them noise. How are we going to help out with people to do business? How are the government? How we trying the government? Bouncing Williams tell me from the tax system that it's trying the government to help them. So that's why they could go all over and do business. Then how are the government can help out with all the money where they pick up from sugar and passport and all them and land where they sell up and down? How are the government can help small business? What small business you want to talk about? Very poor, I think they got in trade. So you get about 40 supermarkets down here. I don't know how much of a news. I will tell you one of these years.
Right.
I don't know one of these, how much of they got, right?
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Now, this is serious business.
Very.
Very serious business. Because the government of St. Kitts and Nevis would have signed an agreement with CARICOM to abide by the United Nations 25 by 25. Nevis has had multiple years to get its act together. And that is why they started to implement this broiler industry, where that project would have given Nevis the bragging rights to say we have reduced importation of broiler meat by 25% by 2025. It'll give them that applause. That look, little Nevis, the smallest of the islands in CARICOM, would have been ahead of Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago and all the other countries. And we done it. But you see, having the idea and implementing the idea are two different things.
No, Kelly, we say you have to think up, but you have to think through. And there's a process. Planning, implementation, monitoring, and evaluation. Now, Kel, if you say the broiler is in storage for 2 years now, at $3,000 a month,
yeah.
So 312
$72,000
you have spent already. And okay,
and the children want to go away for 15,000.
15,000.
Yeah.
And as you made a point, I just wanted to ask you if there's a connection.
To what?
The land that was available, the 60 acres at Webbs, is no longer available for broiler. Is it available for the enclave?
Of course. That land, most of that land. We have yet to know the quantum of it, but most of it we understand is now part of this enclave that the Premier's wife is creating on behalf of this Belgian national. All right, so Webbs is gone for the most part of it.
So the poultry gone too?
Of course, the poultry is gone.
Oh.
So
they will bring their poultry.
Of course, they're gonna bring more than that.
I know.
But the point though is that the government and Dr. Bartlett did a wonderful presentation. I hope you guys caught it.
Yes, Monday evening. Where
she basically showed the quantum of money over the years.
Peanuts.
The quantum of money over the years that the government has been spending in agriculture, while at the same time talking about sustainable agriculture
and
food security. The numbers never lie. And she was able to demonstrate quite pellucidly that over the years, the budgets of the Ministry of Agriculture have been decreasing steadily, while the rhetoric about food security has been increasing steadily. The two are not meeting. One is increasing, the rhetoric is increasing, and actual productivity and money allocated has been decreasing. How do you square these circles? You can't. They're two diametrically opposed events. And so while I always tell you, follow the money. You cannot ever go wrong. I was a PS. I know that most of my budget was eaten up by personal emoluments, salaries and wages. I know that. We used to fight tooth and nail with the Ministry of Finance to give us a larger envelope so we can do more on the ground. And thank God I had a minister like Hector and a premier like Perry who had agriculture in their blood and who made sure that I got funding, especially for the capital projects. So we were able to fund the complete renovation and reconstruction of the Morbury Hanley public market. We were able to do the agro-processing plant. We were able to bring in the first commercial greenhouse, a demonstration teaching unit for the Ministry of Agriculture. We were able to bring in the kind of technologies we call protected agricultural systems. We were able to reintroduce cotton. You understand? So what I'm trying to tell you is that the commitment on the part of the government is essential if you're going to be bragging and boasting about food security and agricultural sustainability and all that. Talk is cheap. Whiskey costs money.
Yeah, but Kelly, Dr. Bartlett mentioned the paucity of funds for specific programs in agriculture. And well, you just said it. A serious government sets out every year to say, look, fellas, we're going to do these few things here as capital projects. What you have in health, what you have in agriculture, and so on. So even though there is always the back and forth with finance, the cabinet sets those priorities.
Good afternoon, on target.
Yeah, good afternoon again. These fellows, we know not serious about no agriculture, and the food security. What happened to the food archer they spend millions of dollars down the pan, below down the place down the what happened to it? Okay, now down there. Down the dry, like a chips. And they talk about food security. Why these fellows only want to sound good? We're tired of hearing them. We need to see the back of them. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that fruit orchard has gone to the dogs. You
But
spoke
you
about
had one
that.
at the river. That is also.
I don't have any information on that.
No. What I mean is that to establish it, money was provided to establish it.
No, Tulio, you're lucky in shock. What happened to you? You fall asleep or you're in shock? Which one?
No, I'm listening because I'm wondering how come we as a people sat for all these years accepting nonsense that Brantley keeps saying to us every day, week after week, month after month, year after year, and there's no consequence for this foolishness that he speaks and the evil that he has done to us as a people, because he has done us some real evil. And how come we just sit down and accept this? And I'm thinking too, when I think of the lies that he told, how is it that a media house, year after year, week after week, give this man an open platform to spew the lies and the deception and the disrespect that he does on a regular basis? How could any manager allow this thing to happen on their network? It is scary.
It is sad. But, you know, sometimes you have to scratch your head and wondering what would it take for Nigerians to wake up and understand that they're being taken for a ride. That this guy called the Premier has no good intention for them. His loyalty is not to them. His loyalty is to everybody but them. And when he goes around staging these events, these walk-ins to small businesses, you know, it is for his own benefit. He's trying to convince and paint a picture that all is well. And all is not well. People are struggling out there, seriously struggling. All right? I was having a conversation just a while ago, just afternoon, with a friend of mine. You know, and he was saying, just like Itulu, you know, he wishes that we can do more, and he hopes that NRP will do more for those persons who have fallen off the wagon. Oh. That we could have a program that used to be in evidence during my mother's time, where you had housing and healthcare and food and, you know, a bath for these people. Because in a modern society, 2025, you can't be just passing people on the street who are down on their luck because of alcoholism or mental illness or any combination of those things and pretend they're not there. These are human beings. They belong to somebody. They belong to all of us.
True.
And he said to me, "Boy, Daly, I listened to you, I read what you wrote, and it meant a lot to me because I try my best. But me too, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Me too, I'm on the edge. If I lose a paycheck, I'm
fall off.
I'm going off the cliff.
You fall off the cliff. Yeah.
And a lot of us
are on the cliff.
Mm-hmm. Some of us have 1 foot over the cliff. All right? A lot of us, I've never met anybody in my circle of friends who can say without doubt that they are so cash secure that they can lose 2 paychecks or 3 paychecks.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't exist. It does not exist. Once you have children to feed and the bills to pay, you're always on the edge. And the government here has gutted the middle class people.
Big time.
Gutted. They have not provided the kind of incentives, the kind of bricks that the middle class needs to survive. They are taxed to death. You know, everything is burdensome, is carried by them, because the rich up here in the top, they get all the concessions, they get all the bricks. So somebody has to carry the load. The lower classes can't carry all of it. So the middle class is the one that's carrying the load. And they're the ones being gutted.
Well, Kel, you said, I think you said on this program, a man brought in some $1 million worth of art and should have paid
$40 million US.
Customs should have been $40 million US.
No, he brought in, the art was valued $40 million US.
$40 million US, and those are luxury items. So Those should have attracted a customs charge of about.
He should have at least paid 56 million EC dollars in taxes.
All right.
For that. Let's go to the
40 million US.
Good afternoon, on target.
Yeah, good afternoon again. You see, I talk about middle class, you know. Which part in the name is the middle class? The nigger man, they don't lick out the middle class there, you know. You're either up or you're down. And most of the people who are from the middle class, they go up with party there, you know. They come down with family there.
So are you in Are you in the middle class? Are you in the upper class or in middle class?
No, and you know me not in the upper class. You know that. When we want the people to understand what happened around them, you know. And this is not no politics. This is reality. Whether you're CCM or you're NRP, you're PAM or Labour, poor people are feeling squeezed. People are profit than us. Let me go choose tomorrow morning. Whether choose us or profit, you see what you choose. You choose profit. People, I understand what happened. Good afternoon.
All right, that was our last call for today because we have to. The DJ, they're signaling me to get my ass out of the studio. I do apologize that we have to. I left some things undone, but you understand.
Oh, just to say one single thing, Kel. The post you made about the land and the comments and so we've done. 3 persons who have land in the area have spoken to me, and they say they get a call from the people interested in buying the land. And one lady was saying, the man, you should have told him somebody. The fellow said, me, no. I don't have to send me soul with them because I am not going to sell them my land, so I don't. Another person told me just this morning, you know what he said to me, Kel? Mr. Daniel, you believe them they are cook? That's what she said to me. And I'm just saying, in that context, you have people being concerned. And a third person said to me, Kel, Daniel, what they plan to do? Normally people want to buy your land to build a hotel, to build a factory or something. He said, man, if I'm going to send me land, I want to see something we're going to employ people and create money for people. So,
yeah, we get the idea. Yeah. I'm making one last appeal. Just one call. Good afternoon, on target. Good afternoon.
Daily, you were giving some health tips. I want to know at what time that you drink the Hammond.
Have a good day, yeah?
We have overstayed our welcome.
You want to tell him like Bokipi in the evening.
I forgot one tip. If you are getting any brain fog, if you're having difficulty remembering anything, put some cinnamon. Make sure it's cinnamon sticks, the real cinnamon, the Ceylon cinnamon, or you get cinnamon powder, as fresh as you can get it. 1/6 of a teaspoon with ginger, cayenne pepper or black pepper, and turmeric, and you just shut that down, and you do that regularly, and you should ease up on your brain fog and reverse any signs of dementia. Again, I repeat, 1/6 of a teaspoon of cinnamon with your regular ginger shot, ginger with turmeric and black pepper or cayenne pepper, and of course that will assist you greatly in reducing brain fog. I forgot to put that piece in. All right, so have a blessed day. This guy called back again. I guess he got something to tell me. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Listen, seems as if Mark will be feeding off your comment, because though you speak about the poor people and the middle class, yet you complain about this guy working in the street, and you know, Mark cut the days to 3 days.
He cut the what? The days. The guys are cutting him in.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Wow. That is rough. That you say you're adding to poverty. All right. Thank you, caller.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. That was the last call because I'm being signaled to get out of here. So thank you all for listening. We'll be back next Saturday. Same time, same station. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And remember, Monday, Easter Monday, down at Sun Crab Hole at Indian Castle, at Newcastle, sorry. The fishers down there inviting you out to have a fun day with them with the fishing tournament. All right? God bless. See you next week, Saturday.
Once a week.